Up there. Do you see those tiny specks on the rim? Those are people standing at the exact overlooks I had been standing at just hours before, thinking I was getting the full picture. I was not getting the full picture. I had been coming to this park every day for over a week. I had ridden my e-bike along the rim. I had hiked with my dog Willie between sunrise and sunset points at golden hour. I had driven to Rainbow Point at the altitude of 9,200 feet and watched the entire canyon unfold before me. And somehow I had still not seen it. Not really. Not until a mule named MaryJane carried me down into it. 9 days. Was it too much? Stick around. I think you already know the answer. Before I even get to Bryce Canyon, I need to tell you something about how this trip works, because I get asked this question a lot. How do you decide how long to stay somewhere? Honestly, a lot of it comes down to when my next reservation opens up. National Park campgrounds book fast, sometimes months in advance. So the length of my stay at any given park is partly about how much I love it, and partly about the puzzle of reservations, dump stations, and what comes next on the map. For Bryce Canyon, I had 9 days, and I used all of them. It started with one night at Kodachrome Basin State Park, about 30 minutes from Bryce Canyon. And I have to say, if you're doing this stretch of southern Utah, do not skip Kodachrome. It deserves its own video, and I will have one for you. But as a landing pad the night before entering Bryce, it was perfect. I had partial hookups, including electricity. When the temperatures are in the 20s, electricity is not a convenience, it's a luxury. Willie and I were very, very grateful. If you want to see all of my stops this year, I'll be adding them into my free interactive campground app. You can find it on my website at makingmyownlane.com, interactive campground map. I'll leave the link in the description. And if you want my full review of each campsite, including internet connection, things to do in the area, and booking links to each campground, check out the unlocked version for $24.98. I'll be updating it more, and any 2026 updates are included free. The drive from Kodachrome to Bryce Canyon is about 30 minutes. I pulled up to the entrance booth around 9 in the morning, and I was through in 10 minutes. The line moved fast. The ranger at the booth was very clear about one thing. I could not drive my RV and tow dolly through the park. Too long, too wide for some of the pullouts. I would need to unhook at the visitor center. I explained I was staying at the campground, and she backed off a little. I appreciated that. North Campground has 4 loops, A, B, C, and D. C and D are tents only. I needed B, and that sign came up so fast that I blew right past it, ended up at the dump station, and had to turn the whole rig around. That's 46. Full. Oh, is that the way I'm supposed to turn? I can't back up. Hi, how are you? I'm in loop A34, which I think I just missed.
Yeah.
So I have to spin. How do I spin around?
Just follow it all the way out.
Okay, great.
Turn around so you can
Okay. Okay. Thank you. That came up quick. Thank you. Dump station. Do not enter. So I'm just gonna spin around. Guess we'll find the dump station then. the dump station. I guess spin around and come back. I see. Look at the puppy. There's a puppy out there. Now I'm going to pay better attention. Stop. B Loop. RV only. 34. It's going to be fun. Four, 43, 42, 41. Hold on. I know, look, we're almost there. 39. 38, 37. Classic, and luckily not difficult. But once I was in the B Loop, I was really glad I was there. The sites are less like traditional campsites and more like pull-offs, carved into the hillside. I had 2 sets of stairs leading up to my picnic table and firing area. Private, quiet, completely surrounded by ponderosa pines that smelled absolutely incredible. This is one of the things I have decided on this trip. Whenever possible, I want to spend at least 2 nights in the national park campground itself. Not just because it's convenient, but because there is something really special about being inside the park after the tour buses leave for the day and before they arrive the next morning. You get to experience a completely different version of the park, and it's worth every penny of the site fee to have that. One of my first moves on arrival day was to walk over to the visitor center, about a 10-minute walk from my site, and hop on the free park shuttle. Here is a tip. If you're arriving somewhere new and you want to get your bearings without the stress of driving to every overlook, take the shuttle first. Let someone else drive while you look out the window and figure out exactly where you want to spend your time. I rode out to Bryce Point and back and got the lay of the land. I made my list. That afternoon, I did the 18-mile scenic drive up to the highest point in the park, Rainbow Point and Yavimpa Point, at over 9,200 feet of elevation. And here's another tip that the park literature does not make obvious enough. Drive all the way to the top first, then stop at your viewpoints on the way back down. That way every pullout is on your right side, the side you are pulling to. It sounds simple, but it makes the whole drive so much easier, especially if you're in a larger vehicle. On the way back down, I stopped at Natural Bridge, and I just stood there for a while. Sometimes the beauty is just too much to explain. Natural Bridge is one of those places. You have to see it. Day 2 was cold in the morning. I stayed in the RV with Willie while the solar panels slowly woke up. By the way, if you're boondocking or camping without hookups, you already know this feeling. I hit 67% on the battery by morning, and it was a slow crawl until noon when the sun finally hit the panels directly. After that, I was fully charged in about an hour. After lunch, I got on my Velotric e-bike, and I did not get back for 4 hours. These are some of the cabins that you can rent. They're just beautiful. It'd be fun to rent a cabin here, I think. Gorgeous. And this is Bryce Canyon Lodge. And I am not not going to make the same mistake I made the first time. This is a walk your bike zone. Kind of blew through on my way in. They have a gift shop in there. They have lodging and a pizza place. So, let's see when this was made. The lodge's roof is notable. The green color was chosen to blend in with the ponderosa pines, and the shingle pattern creates a wave-like movement, mimicking pine boughs blowing in the wind. The lodge's central portion was completed in 1925, and an auditorium, additional wings and an auditorium were added in 1927. It is pretty clearly marked to get off your bike. It's a dismount zone. And it was marked. So I guess when you get to areas of high traffic, they have dismount zones. It really is designed to keep people as safe as possible. On your right, on your left, here is the horse barn. I'll be coming back to next Tuesday. Made my reservation. I have not done a horse tour. I don't think I've done a boat tour on this trip yet. The cost of gas. Sometimes I question my decisions. Thank you. But it goes to the bottom of the canyon, which is very nice because I don't mind hiking down to the bottom of the canyon, but then you have to hike back up again. And if I can have a horse do the work, it's probably worth the $125. I often wonder if the gas prices had changed before I hit New Mexico, what I would have done. I made the decision to stay on the road, and I'm so glad I did. Watching for wildlife. Prairie dogs. I do want to see a prairie dog. Listen for their chattering. They may be warning others about me. Bobcats, Stellar jays, ringtails, cool. Ravens, white-breast nuthatch, coyotes, mule deer, desert cottontail. I really am looking for prairie dogs. 68 degrees and a 14-mile-per-hour wind. The e-bike cut right through it. And with me pedaling to keep warm, I was completely comfortable within minutes. The best part, I followed the same route as the shuttle bus, but on the shared use trail. No buses, no cars, no RVs, no motorcycles, just the trail, the trees, and those HooDoos standing watch on both sides. I stopped at Inspiration Point, got off the bike, and just looked. The bike trails here are so nice. Paved. I rode up from the campground on my Velotric, locked it up. There's bike racks. And I am now at Inspiration Point, which means I have to walk up there. Elevation 8,100 feet. But you can see this isn't even extremely crowded. There's still some parking there, but it's gonna get very busy here over the weekend. And when you have an e-bike, it just kind of opens things up for you a little bit. You don't have to wait for the shuttle. You don't have to find parking. So wish me luck. Off I go. More HooDoos. Always more HooDoos. And somehow they were still not getting old. I rode to Bryce Point at the end of the shared trail and then headed back towards the entrance in search of Fairyland Point, which you can access by road. And by search, I mean I missed my turn. I ended up in Bryce Canyon and turned around and eventually found the Fairyland Loop trailhead. Okay, so I just checked my maps. It said that the Fairyland Loop, someone lost the sewer hose. The Fairyland Loop.
In half a mile, the destination is on your right, Fairyland Loop trailhead.
Or 1 minute ride. Today, there's not many people. Let's see, hopefully there's a bike back up here. Buses do come up here.
The destination is on your right, Fairyland Loop trailhead. Arrived.
There it is. Bike rack. All right, so let's go see what Fairyland is all about. Oh, you're real close to the HooDoos here. Can't wait to get down into the canyon next week on a horse. You can hike. I'm gonna do it on a horse. The navigation on this trip continues to be a work in progress. And here's my honest opinion for anyone trying to prioritize their time. The views at Rainbow Point are, in my opinion, the most spectacular in the park. You are above everything. The whole amphitheater unfolds before you. If you only do one thing at Bryce Canyon, drive to Rainbow Point. On my last evening at North Campground, Willie and I drove to the trailhead and walked the rim trail between Sunset Point and Sunrise Point, about 2 miles round trip, and dogs are allowed here. And I have to mention this for everyone traveling with a dog. This is the only dog-friendly trail in Bryce Canyon National Park. The only one. So plan accordingly. After 2 nights inside the park, I moved to my dispersed camping spot at Tom's Best Spring Road, about 20 minutes from the park's entrance. Tom's Best Spring Road, officially Forest Road 117 in the Dixie National Forest, is about 20 miles long in total. The actual spring is at roughly the 12-mile mark from the Highway 12 entrance. Most of the RV-friendly camping is concentrated in the first 1.5 miles off Highway 12, where you will find flat pull-offs, pine shade, and enough space for big rigs. I stayed at Tom's Best for 6 nights, and I loved it. Rangers patrol regularly, which made me feel comfortable leaving camp to go back into the park during the day. Starlink worked great, solar worked great, and I had Bryce Canyon National Park 20 minutes away whenever I wanted it. This is the secret weapon of this stretch at Utah. You do not have to choose between the park campground and a free Dispersed site. You can do both. I let the holiday weekend pass. While the park was at peak capacity, I stayed at Tom's Best, worked on my videos, got my laundry done at Ruby's Inn, had a buffet lunch, and generally did not compete with the crowds. And then on Tuesday morning, I was up at 6:30 to make an 8 a.m. horseback tour into the canyon. Not my best time. So I'm here for my 7:30 horseback ride down into Bryce Canyon and the HooDoos. This is how people used to get gas here. This was the gas station. Now it's the bike rental place. E-bikes and regular bikes. And the horses are right up there. I'm all checked in. I have my ticket. I do not have my phone. I can't believe I forgot my phone, but I did. There is a bathroom halfway down on the trail, and there are bathrooms here. And I'm going to get on my horse. I did the 3-hour tour down through Navajo Canyon. A hike I wanted to do, but it was a much better idea to let the horse do all the work. When you book the tour, they ask about your riding experience. I told them, not much. Give me something quiet and sure-footed. What I did not mention was that I owned my own horse for several years, that I had been riding since I was a kid, that my centered riding lessons would come in very handy that morning on a mule named MaryJane. My guide put me directly behind him, the spot reserved for the least experienced rider in the group. I think he was a little surprised when I settled into the saddle like I had done it before. But he knew I was nervous on those high switchbacks, and I think he found some fun in trying to scare me a little.
Hey guys, we got a naturally man-made tunnel called the Eye of the Needle.
Don't bust my knees, MaryJane. Come on, don't bust my knees. It's gonna be a lot of editing on this video.
You guys, this next turn up here is called the Tylenol turn. Don't bump your head.
Okay.
Tylenol turn.
Come on. I know. No.
Phoenix and Silver, come on. You guys, we're going through another tunnel. It's called the Lover's Lane. Get your camera ready. Get a picture here.
Hi.
Kind of a neat little trail down through there, huh?
Yeah, pretty. Come on. A great view.
You can see the Bryce Point's got like one person up there, two people.
Two people.
And you can kind of see how far we've come from the rest stop, see from looking at that.
From underneath.
Come a little ways. Did you see it up there? You tell that the people? Yeah.
I'm afraid to go faster. She's coming. We're okay. Come here.
You're good. Just kick it a little bit. Come on.
I just don't want to go too fast down the hill. It's just
Hey, that was fun.
speed going down. Yeah, that was fun.
I tell you, you like that? Oh, make a turn. Oh.
What? Don't do that to me. You're evil.
Slide, huh?
Gosh.
She's doing wide.
Don't even. You're making me so nervous. MaryJane was magnificent, sure-footed on every switchback, smooth on the descents. There was one section, where my stomach went into knots and I could not look down at what she was navigating, but she knew exactly what she was doing. I just had to trust her. Yep. What's the name of this turn? Is it really? I thought the last one was bad. I don't want to. She's supposed to. So I'm just not going to look. I'm going to let her do what she wants. Oh my gosh. Woo! Oh, I just lost my breakfast. Oh.
They're called the Chessmen. This is one of the postcards of Bryce right here. look behind you, you can see Bryce Point up there again. Okay, come on, Phoenix, work him over.
8 miles, 1,000 feet down, and 1,000 feet back up. And at the bottom of that canyon, looking back at the rim, I finally understood something. Those tiny specks up there on Bryce Point, on Inspiration Point, I had been one of them. I had stood at those overlooks and thought I was seeing the whole canyon. You are not seeing the canyon from up there. You are seeing the top of it. The canyon is down here, and it is enormous. The guide pointed out the dunes, these pale rolling formations that look completely different from the HooDoos. They are in the oldest section of the park. They used to be HooDoos thousands of years ago, but they have eroded all the way down to this. Yep.
Maybe this afternoon we'll get a little sprinkle of rain.
That changes quickly. So when you look at the dunes, you're seeing the future of the HooDoos. And when you look at the fins, those thin walls of rock along the canyon walls, you are seeing the HooDoos past. The whole cycle of formation and erosion visible in one ride. The guide also explains the wash system. When it rains hard in this canyon, the water does not just sit. It fills the washes, carves new channels, and eventually finds its way out, all the way to the Colorado River. Every canyon I have visited on this trip, Capitol Reef, Canyonlands, Arches, Bryce, it all drains to the same place. The West is one big connected story. Oh, and the trails in this canyon, they were not Native American built. They were built by white men, likely through Roosevelt's CCC program in the 1930s. The Paiute people had a different relationship with this place. They believed HooDoos were people who had been frozen by the gods as punishment. Standing in the middle of thousands of them, looking up at their faces, I can see why. Red Canyon is 4 miles from Tom's Best Spring on the bike trail. 4 miles. I had been planning to ride over there all week, and I finally made it. If you're in the Bryce Canyon area and you do not stop at Red Canyon, you're making a mistake. Most people drive right through the tunnels past it on Highway 12 without realizing it's a destination in its own right. I did the Pink Ledges Trail, and the color of that rock, a red so vivid it almost does not look real, stopped me in my tracks. I will have a separate video for Tom's Best Dispersed Camping, Red Canyon, and Kodachrome Basin, because all of them deserve more than a mention. But I know this. If you're based at Tom's Best Spring for a stretch, you have 2 bonus parks sitting right in your backyard. 9 days. 1 night at Kodachrome, 2 inside the park at North Campground, and 6 nights at Tom's Best Spring. An e-bike ride along the rim, a golden hour hike with Willie, and a horseback descent into the canyon, a visit to Rainbow Point at 9,200 feet, and more viewpoints than I can count. Was it too much? I ran out of time before I ran out of things to do. I never got to the Bristlecone Loop at Rainbow Point. I never did the Tower Bridge Trail. There are hikes down in that canyon I have not taken yet. 9 days was not too much. 9 days was just the start. I keep thinking about those people on the rim, the ones I could see from the canyon floor looking like specks. I was that person 2 days earlier, standing at Inspiration Point, thinking I was seeing everything. And I was seeing something real and beautiful and worth every mile to get there. But this trip keeps doing something to me. It keeps showing me that the view I have is never the whole view, that there's always another angle, another depth, another layer I have not reached yet. That is not a frustrating thing. That's the whole point. The places that are worth your time are the ones that cannot be finished. If you are planning a trip to Bryce Canyon, here is what I would tell you. Give it more time than you think you need. Stay inside the park if you can get a site, even just one night. Grab a spot at Tom's Best Spring on Highway 12 as your base, and do the horseback ride. Do it. I'll have another video coming next for Kodachrome Basin, Red Canyon, and the Dispersed camping experience at Tom's Best. So if any of those caught your attention, hit subscribe so you do not miss them. Then Willie and I are heading to Zion National Park. And after everything I've seen in the last few weeks, I genuinely cannot imagine what is coming. I'll see you there.